up in a bigger way than a team like FPX, who it seems like can rely on Nuggery to do a lot more of the heavy lifting.
Which is what EDG wanted in 2020, it feels like, with Hope to facilitate that role. And he did in spring, but, you know, Hope petered off and EDG changed it a lot. Now, with Flandre in the top lane, Viper, who's had some pretty aggressive performances, we'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pick Bam, for the first time that you're seeing at the very least, where Flandre has picked up EDG's Olaf. So JJ back on comfort, priority in the LPL continues towards this bearded man.
So for context, in Game 1, FPX banned Olaf on red side. Game 2, they first picked it, so EDG clearly responding and taking this away as a result of that Game 2 performance. He is going to be, again, that other S-tier jungler along with the Pantheon. We still do have things like Graves open. Of course, we do know that FPX were one of the teams that loved Lilia before any other LPL team did, so there's always potential for like a 3-pick Lilia and then AD solo laners coming out. But we are seeing a pretty standard first rotation from FPX, just going towards the Kai'Sa and the Leona. And guess what? We're trading picks. Viper and Mako saying, hey, you can play this bot lane, we can play this bot lane better.
I was going to say, you know, this has been the series so far. It's Kai'Sa versus Aphelios. If we're doing that trade, we don't mind either way. LWX has been pretty big in both games on the Aphelios. And only last game was it able to help carry them across the line. Mako on Thresh, though. Lyric, let's be honest, Mako and Crisp at similar times in the LPL have been the best Threshers.
Mako especially feels like he's either really hot or really cold. I remember times in summer where Mako looked like he was carrying the team, and then there are times where Mako just feels a little bit silent. So we'll be interested to see what kind of form he comes into. I'm very curious to see what FPX lock in with the mid lane role this time around. I guess theoretically you could just go back towards the Rumble, not like you really had much CC to set up for it last game anyway, but we know we shouldn't expect something like the Syndra. The Twisted Fate is already banned. That really only leaves, off the top of my head, Rumble that feels like fits in this composition. Orianna is still there as well. You do have a bit of a ball delivery system with both your Kai'Sa and your Leona. It is also a very safe blind pick champion, so we could keep our eyes out for that one.
Do you put anything like Galio? Does that fit the bill as well?
I would say Galio could be an alright pick, but the fact that they have Olaf with Ragnarok, that Aphelios should just be able to outrange Galio like outright. I don't know if it's something I love with what FPX has put together so far.
Plus Flay, right, with the Shield of Duran is a good denying factor from letting him in. At least Doomby going back to his flavor. And no one else is playing Rumble, so it's really nice to see that he's still confident to pull this one out.
And I mean, heck, they still even have a similar combo to what they did last time around. It's not the accelerated Sock Flash, but hey, you drop Equalizer, you throw out collateral damage, maybe you have enough damage at some point in the game to burst out a target like Viper or Scout.
Yep, could be the case. Scout? Is it going to be the Orianna, though, in response? I mean, this feels like one of the older matchups. Rumble versus Orianna. Simple stuff. Scout going to pull it out again, and we had a lot of Wombo. A lot of that 5v5, you hit the nail on the head. This looks like a team fighting team with a big focus on AD carry and mid, and they've kind of done that again.
And now, some of the most important top lane blinds have been banned. Gnar and Renekton both gone. We have seen Flandre pull out the Gragas already. Is going to just go back towards that pick. Again, very strong team fighting pick. You nailed it with the term Wombo combo, and we nailed it with just saying, hey, this is going to be a team that's all centered around the 5v5 team fight. EDG are clearly indexing into that area, and they're happy to continue to do so.
I want you to walk me through FPX, though, because we've got an Aatrox in the top lane for Nuggery running against this Gragas, and this feels like an FPX comp that we would have seen at Worlds.
So it is very FPX. It's a comp that definitely wants to get up close and personal with EDG's champions. Kai'Sa wanting to jump in, Leona and Aatrox as well. Rumble's going to be a bit of an interesting one. I still expect him to go towards the Night Harvester. That does feel a lot more common in pro play, but I do even think the Rift Maker would work here since FPX's comp needs to go in. EDG on the other side, they still want that team fight, but they have more disengage tools. They have the way to keep the range advantage. You talked about the Flay, you talked about the box. We have the Gragas ultimate, which can be used defensively, and you're just building space for Scout and Viper to deal the damage they need to win out the fight.
Chat, you got your book, write that down. building space with the help of Explosive Cask and Gragas. Important stuff to note, the carries in Viper and Scout have been pretty explosive over the past 2 games, and as Doomby is cat jamming right in front of us, we know that Game 3 wins it all. We know that Match of the Week in LPL is the best drug. And this is the highest part as we run into Summoner's Rift for game number 3, where FPX and EDG, our top teams at least pitted towards that, are going to put it all on the line. Let's see how these fights fare out. Let's see how junglers get off the starting line that we've seen in Game 1 and Game 2 be quite influential. And let's watch a full game of League of Legends between 2 greats of the LPL as I wait for the gyros. Lyric, as we see, I don't know if that was Lalgundia, which is LGT, or TSM, but you know, one day with our wives, or whatever, you know, or whatever happens, we will, if we're players at 30 or 35, hopefully we can get them to shout for us and give us our gyros too.
That was an exceptional intro. I'm gonna jump into the game. We see Flandre going for the grasp of the Undying. We've actually only seen one person take this, and it was Nuggery. He took it up against the Renekton matchup. I think it is a bit strange. Your trading pattern is a lot different than it would be with Phase Rush, to where again Phase Rush is about getting that full combo off and then quickly backing out with the movement speed. To where obviously Grasp is about, you need to stay in combat to kind of stack it up and then getting that really quick auto trade. I definitely think the idea of going towards more of a tank Gragas is much better. Your comp has more than enough damage in it as it stands with Aphelios, Orianna, and the Olaf.
And you know, always from, I think it was you or Clement talking about Grasp being that laning rune, right? When it feels really good within the early parts of the lane, especially against some of these bruisers. And when you have good base stats like Gragas does.
Especially when you're just in a matchup where you're melee versus melee, right? You're going to be constantly autoing each other. Something like Conquer is a rune that needs to be stacked up, so it's a lot more about taking elongated trades. To where Grasp, again, you can like hit minions, prepare the Grasp proc, hit Aatrox, and just kind of back off. So, good for that.
Okay, Centerflade used. Good play. This is the connection, though. Chris forced the flash after Mako. Maybe not forced, but wanted to. That's both flashes gone from the supports.
We need to remember, though, that Crisp does have Hex Flash, so he will be able to continue to look for a lot of these aggressive all-ins. So if Mako does get pounced on this time around, it won't be as forgiving.
We also, Lyric, have to remember that both junglers are going to be leaving this lane for now because they're pathing, or excuse me, only one of them's pathing towards the top side. Jeje is on bottom side clear with a very pushed EDG bottom lane.
So he'll probably just use his push, look to get maybe a bit of vision, though actually he just did take Sweeper. Just going to look to secure the bot side Scuttle Crab. We do see LWX and Chris playing very defensively, and they both are about full HP. I think looking for a dive would be a little bit risky.
That sentence, oh, just the edge of the hook from Mako almost finds LWX.
And another interesting thing about this game, I think, is the mid lane matchup. Orianna versus Rumble is definitely Orianna favored early, as we've seen him just kind of pushing in the wave. You can spam your abilities off cooldown and look for trades in the minion wave like this. If Rumble ever does look for an engage on you, very easy for you to just pull your E and then throw W to back away with the movement speed and then kite him back on like his exit of the trade. So yeah. Just very favorable for Orianna until 6, where Rumble has a bit of threat with his ultimate.
But also, you know, the power of 6, I want to talk on FPX's side, as Nuguri with some good trades onto Flandre. The trades for Rumble, when we're talking about these first objectives, you know, definitely going to have more power, more prowess with the equalizer and the damage it provides.
The thing about FPX is they just have a ton of upfront damage, right? You Graves combo, Equalizer, Aatrox throwing out some Qs. If you can find an isolated target, you can burst them out instantly, find the pick, and take the fight. For EDG, like you pointed out, it's a lot more about the long game, but they're definitely going to take those extended fights later on.
I look forward to the Aphelios, the Oriana, again, creating space. I hope chat wrote that down. Good hook from Mako. Slay away from Chris, gives the space. Another person who can provide that one there, Lyric, is Viper. Gets a better off trade, and the push continues with Viper and Mako showing their dominance.
It's really nice to see as well. Again, we do have Thresh against Leona, so it is a bit of a range versus melee matchup. Of course, Leona does have tools to fight, as we saw from the all-in earlier in the game, but Mako just consistently spamming these death sentences.
Great combo when you have Gravitum too. You get a lot of lockdown and the ability to get, you know, that extra auto or two into. LWX going to feel that Gravitum, but Mako, that sentence is on a bit of a cooldown with a minion in the way. So EDG will continue pushing while the low health bar for LWX means he might have to back away.
And at this point, FPX's composition is kind of waiting for that level 6 mark, right? We've hit on the equalizer, we've hit on the collateral damage, waiting for a lot of those strong tools to look for something like a Drake or a Herald. But EDG, they don't need that. They have bot prio, they have mid prio. They're going to go straight to this dragon.
Okay, first dragon of the game. Going to be an Infernal here, Lyric, and JJ are going to take this himself. One of the bonuses of being an Olaf, you do this super, super quick. Tien on the other side going to be looking for top lane. Lyric, do you believe?
Well, Flandre's recall actually does get canceled. I don't think he dies. He still has flash.
Smoke screen there. No level 5, though. Good walking between the minion wave means Tien can't get the autos in, so he will survive.
Yeah, and didn't have to blow the flash either, right? He had a lot of discipline and realized, hey, I'm going to be able to get away from this scot-free. He's been doing a good job at staying close in the matchup. We've hit on Gragas a lot, that Gragas is like a deceptively good laner. You have a lot of tools to survive many matchups. You have a lot of ways to trade or farm safely. So Flandre doing his job, and again, he's going to provide a lot of engage and more importantly, disengage and peel options for his carries later on.
So let me clarify, is the CS disadvantage here quite normal? 10 CS down is Flandre against Nuguri right now?
Well, he was only like 2 or 3 CS down before Tien came and made that play, so it is a bit expected after Tien putting a bit of pressure up towards that top side.
True, Lyric, you know what to say, because sometimes my brain does not. But at the very least, you know, he's gone for tier. I don't think I've seen tier Gragas yet. As that death sentence at max range, the flay from LWX who flashed away, it's crescendum on Viper, who almost takes LWX down in the process. Close to level 6 this bottom lane, about half an EXP bar, would have been the difference for a kill.
Yeah, good plays coming out. LWX does flash. I do want to go back to your last point, as we can see that JJ spotted out. We have seen 1 tier Gragas in the LPL, and again, it was done by Nuguri. He went tier, he didn't finish it, and then just started going full tank. So, I'll be honest, I'm not too well versed in this like mastermind of a build that is only done by these 2 top laners, but
some of the best top laners in the LPL, let's not forget. I mean, Nuguri's been hyped up as could be the best after, you know, 1 split if he performs like he did at Worlds. Or even, you know, during LCK regular season. Flandre's underrated, criminally so, because he hasn't been to Worlds. He's one of the best domestic top laners in the LPL.
And, I mean, to be fair, it's understandable he's underrated after last year. Didn't perform too well in spring. Obviously, then for the first time ever getting subbed out.
Oh, feels bad to be a loner against Thresh, but the flash forward from Crisp. And howdily doodly, Tien's here, equalizer down onto Mako as the flash as well. Not the straight line, thankfully, but stunned up Viper's been bullied. And Doomby, after getting reset, after overheating, Mako's going to pull him in, but he can take up 1 or 2 and survive. And FPX hitting bot, we all remember how well they do that, as the explosive cast in the top lane means no trade, or at least no further gain by FPX.
This is the play that FPX have been waiting for the whole time. We knew they were waiting for those ultimates to look for those roams. They've always been a team that's put a bit more emphasis on the bottom half of the map. Nice of them to pick up a kill, but EDG at least going to make a trade on the top side. Nuguri not really able to go and stop him, knowing, hey, Scout's still in the mid lane. My mid laner has already recalled, and it will be a bit of a trade on the map. Still, EDG theoretically should be able to get some gold back for the kill that they lost with this Rift Herald.
And not only that, the CS differential from Scout. He's 20 CS up because during that time where Doomby roamed, Scout got the push out and he got turret plating through the mid lane as well. Holds onto his shockwave for the threat of another play as Nuguri just autos the scuttle. And that's some, I don't know, I was going to say an outplay, but it was just an auto.
Hey, you can outplay with autos. Nuguri doing his job. And Doinby and Crisp heading
Wow.
back to that bot lane. Viper and Mako are a bit overextended.
He doesn't have the equalizer, but he has a flash. Viper's like, not again. Good dark passage, but the solar flare onto 2 of them. LWX gonna get second skin, not once, but twice. Double kill, and this is 2019. FPX as Nuguri TP's it.
Yep, Nuguri trying to be there for the team, giving moral support, but Crisp still being so clean. Scout just playing a PvE game in the mid lane. Might finally have to interact.
Hey, maybe this TP becomes worth it. Scout's going to get turret plating. He flashes away. The phase rush you mentioned for the movement speed's great. Shockwave used onto 2, but Equalizer back in lane. Scout has nowhere to go. FPX burning like the Phoenix.
And that was beautiful. That is a bit of disrespect coming out from Scout, honestly. EDG even knew that Nuguri was there. They spammed question mark pings where he TP'd. Scout still stayed overextended in lane. They probably didn't expect Tien to be on the top side when they're sending all of their resources bot. We will get a replay of this once again.
Nice
Clean lantern,
flare.
but like you said, amazing solar flare from Crisp. LWX able to follow up. They pick up 2 kills. And yeah, I feel like that big problem from Scout, didn't expect Tien to be on the top side of the map. I don't think it would have mattered with the fact that Doinby got his equalizer back up. So massive win on the map for FPX. They are leading by 2K.
So would you say that was a 500 IQ TP then from Nuguri? Because, you know, I don't know if he expected Scout to be mid, but it makes it worth it. Getting the kill, getting Doinby another assist, and finding Tien his first kill of the game.
I mean,
nets FPX a massive lead.
We can call it 500 IQ if we're going under the premise that Nuguri can mind control Scout.
True.
If that is
As Soulflare again. They're just finding another pick. The bottom lane too far extended. They wanted the turret plating, but collateral damage gives Chris the killers. Now into Ragnarok. A bit of damage onto Chris himself. Viper picks up that one. It is a better trade because Viper gets to stay in lane and gets the resource, as well as this Herald getting dropped.
Viper, EDG with a good answer to put more gold onto Viper. Doinby is heading down, and it does look like he's about to have his equalizer back up.
And he's been using it so well. Every equalizer has been impactful as the killer instinct. Another one. Does Doinby miss?
Dude, I don't care about the meta. I don't care what you should be picking. Just pick Rumble, pick Kled, keep bringing these champions out because FPX, you do it so well. Again, consistently roaming whenever he has the ability to. Sure, he's losing CS and giving up some plates, but he's finding more advantages for his team.
I'm definitely getting flashbacks here. This is the 4th time FPX have hit bot within the 12 minutes of this game. They'll get Dragon this time because of it. And yeah, it's only 1,000 gold lead, but you've got a lot of kills now onto LWX. Doinby with resources, Tien too. And with turret plates going down, those mythics are going to be coming across pretty soon.
And now we're going to see if FPX do start transitioning to playing more with their top side as Tien's going to clear what looks like his top camps down. Of course, Gragas not the easiest champion to kill. We do expect to see Gragas go towards that that Sunfire Aegis, I think is how the build goes. And again, you
Scout. Yeah, let's find out dissonance. Sorry, Lyric. Go on. It was almost a solo kill. It's about heal in the end.
True.
Cool. Close. Where were you, sir? Sorry, you were in a train of thought, and you know these mid laners.
You know what? My train of thoughts, they don't matter. Because guess what?
Maybe you're right.
Nuguri
Yeah, well
matters.
then, you're exactly right. Into the choke. Nuguri now 1 versus 3. Flashes on him, but he's exhausted. AD nullified as the Soul Flare are good again. But maybe Nuguri was too hypey, too fast.
And guess what? Doinby doesn't have TP. He does take heal in this matchup to survive the laning phase. So EDG in the end, having a numbers advantage, do pick up another kill once again. Still nothing to take on the map, but FPX don't care if they're a man down. They're still looking for the cheeky picks.
Viper had Spidey senses. Good dark passage from Mako. And let's be honest, it is just a W, but at the end of the day, it saves Viper's life.
You know, we don't know how, where these two teams are at in terms of like their standings in the league. It's way too early, but one thing we can tell is these two teams are super close to each other in terms of skill. Really fun to see FPX using the prio they just got in mid from looking for that cheeky pick to turn down towards the bot side, take away red buff, and zone Flandre off the turret.
But good response from EDG. Scout got solo gold up here, and they're trying to fight for first turret blood, or at least get some more plates down. And even though FPX have looked like the more proactive team, EDG are not just, you know, dying in their sleep, right? They're deciding, well, we're going to keep trading across the map. They're actually up in gold, and they've given the most of it over to Scout with these plays mentioned.
Especially when you're the composition that has the Orianna and the Aphelios, right? It's not too big of a deal if you weren't smashing the early game anyway. I still feel like when we talk about things like scaling, though, it's not going to be as cut and dry as, hey, we have Orianna, Aphelios up against, Rumble on the opposite side of the map. It is going to come a lot down to how they execute. I'd even say I kind of like the way FPX's comp plays out a bit better, as we've seen, right? Just laying down that equalizer, having the follow from LWX along with Nuguri jumping into the backline. So it'll always be there. The question is, can EDG play around their double TP better and try to pull FPX across the map? Because as we just saw, Doinby really can't do anything if he's left catching a side wave.
And let's not also remember that you talked about EDG's 5v5 in the late game. If we ignore sides and we get past that point, it may be in an even state with no soul for either team, then at least for EDG in that full 5-on-5, does it still feel the same despite what you've already seen?
To me, it's going to come down to Mako and Flandre in a lot of these later team fights, right? Again, is Flandre going to be able to disengage safely for Viper with the box? And how is Flandre going to use his explosive cast? Can he keep members like Nuguri and LWX off his carries? If he does those things successfully, EDG will win. If he doesn't, maybe if EDG try to use Gragas' ult to look for picks, and then FPX can escape that and then re-engage, I think FPX should be able to take the team fight.
Okay, that's point duly noted as well. Again, keywords spacing from Flandre that Lyric mentioned in the draft. He's going to be able to do lots of it. Of course, the tier's still stacking up, but the Sunfire Cape creates that frontline threat too. Plus, we got Mythics pretty much across the board, bar our supports here. Nothing too surprising. Gale Force on Kai'Sa is super fun to watch with Killer Instinct. Also strong with a Serrated Dirk alongside it.
Yeah, and the thing is, we see two Gale Forces, we see a Night Harvester. FPX's comp is just trying to burst you out instantly. They want to get on top of these backline carries. They want to put out their one combo, and then hope that you are instantly dead. So it's going to be very fast, very decisive. It's going to be a bit of a drive-by.
A drive-by that we've already seen bottom many times. Viper and Mako, they've written to the forum. They've said this person is bullying me, and there's an approval on the way. But JJ's the moderator, and the problem is, mods aren't always the best. So JJ now sitting with Rift Herald, trying to address this issue, as FPX group up once again, and Scout moving in as well. This could be a bit of an ARAM, depending on which way we pivot.
Nuguri does have push in the bot lane, so he could potentially move first, but it does look like the wave's just going to be cleared from both sides, and both top laners are going to make their way over.
Okay, Herald's going to get the turret as well. Let's not forget, EDG moving in, and Viper's like, please give me the gold, sir. Thank you very much. It's actually spread across, and FPX is just giving the Dragon in response. The mountain that they do not want for this Gragas, that EDG now are going to accept it's given over and move up towards the top side.
Overall, I think that was a win for the side of FPX. You lost one turret that was already extremely low from all the work that Scout had done in the early game with Doinby leaving. So overall, bit of a win for the side of FPX. I do understand why EDG went for the trade they did, right? We've talked about how their comp's still not at the point where it is strongest. Nuguri was actually also in front of Flandre, so kind of zoning him off from being able to affect any potential team fight.
The team fight that I'm still waiting for. Lyric gets 8 kills at 18 minutes. Is it fair with what we're saying in the past couple of broadcasts where we're talking about maybe LPL games being a little bit slower because of Mythics, or just the way the meta's going that we shouldn't be expecting, a kill a minute like we did in 2020?
I think there's definitely like a few reasons, right? Whether it's Mythics, whether it's things like, again, still a very jungle-centric meta. We don't really have like early game ganking junglers. Me and Clement obviously have differing theories on this, where Clement's going off historically. Play is usually very like fast and aggressive before Chinese New Year and slows down after the year, which, again, historical is probably true. But I feel like it's going to go the other way this time. We have slower games. Teams aren't quite built in with their rosters. We don't have the same level of confidence and coordination. As more weeks go on, we're going to get more bloodthirsty, aggressive LPL.
Because we tend to see like bigger plays earlier on that might not net as many kills, but, change the way the game is played, right? Like what we saw with FPX, hitting bot multiple times. They've set up their condition as Scout's getting flanked from the rear end. Crisp is here. As I say, there's not enough blood. Comes in with the Solar Flare and the Zenith Blade. Tien picks up the kill. Now, Baron's not available. for 45 seconds. But that pick gives Tien another banger.
Yeah, that was really nice from Chris. It looks like he kind of like wrapped around, hugged the wall, and was just able to get behind Scout without him noticing. Really nice play coming out from him. They pick up a kill and, again, get a turret in response. So the fact that EDG took a turret for Dragon, pretty much null and void. There's still a turret up, but they're actually losing in gold.
And let's be realistic, Lyric. You know, this is Crispin and LWX back in form. I don't care if it's the second series. They're playing a lot better than even what we saw at Demacia Cup at the end of the year. And even what we saw in summer, for sure.
It makes you wonder, like, again, what has changed? Because, like, we can ignore the skill level of Gingu, Nuguri, Khan, all these guys, but there's clearly some kind of reset, some kind of, I don't want to use the term honeymoon phase, but whether it's something intangible like comms, whether they figured out something to help Tien with his wrists and maybe he can have like a more focus on his gameplay and like his communication. It definitely clearly seems like there's been some change with FPX that's allowing their bot lane to step up again. We also do have the meta going back towards LWX champions. Let's remember that his Kai'Sa was famous. It's what he was great on back when they did win Worlds. So I feel like there can be a lot of different reasons and some intangibles that hopefully we can hear from some interviews and potentially FPX win.
Yeah, we'll see. Because on the other end, you know, I'd like to hear it from someone like Mako, who's, you know, had a decent performance as well. But either way, you're going to get to use the word once more, a banging interview. Because that's the best. You know, there's fantastic, and then there's just, what a banger. If you haven't been to Australia, get used to it. It's very much English there. Lyric, we're waiting. And you know what we're waiting for? You tell me. This is me asking you a question.
We're waiting for a team fight yet, huh?
Well,
that was my best Australian.
Nah, yeah. We're looking for a team fight because in a minute we got Mountain Dragon coming up next. Now, FPX, they get that, they move to Salt Point. And while side lanes continue to play out here with Teleport available on 3 out of 4, remember Doumbé has heal. FPX going to push down the mid lane. Gravitum actually secured with the Moonlight Vigil. JJ doesn't go in as that equalizer sends them packing. Away you go, Flandre. No space needed to be created because turret already goes down, and FPX, good play.
I was going to say EDG pulling the trigger on the ultimate probably a bit too early. There's no way you're going to be able to walk up to FPX's comp with the fact that Doumbé still had the equalizer. He drops it, they don't get any kills, but I still think it's fine for the fact that they were able to get turret. The question mark will be how long its cooldown will be up after Dragon. It actually is already about halfway up, so it shouldn't be too long, but yeah, definitely going to be a big cooldown along with crisps for the upcoming Dragon fight.
Bit of ability haste on Rumble feels really nice, and I'm watching it as well, Lyric. I think, yeah, it's going to be up by the time we see FPX pivot towards this. Teleport being used by Nuguri to get to the bottom lane.
So FPX signaling with this, they do want to fight for this Dragon, kind of forcing Tempo and Prio there with that TP. EDG do get the first shot on, and again, we're watching Flandre, we're watching Mako. Can they buy space for their carries?
Is it just going to go down without FPX moving in? They don't care about the Dragon. It's secured maybe for the fight. The equalizer once again lines it down. Chris goes in first, and Flandre is getting burnt to Christmas Nuguri at the angle to flank. But EDG already moved to the mid lane, and FPX have given up the fight, as well as the Dragon.
You know, another great thing about this Rumble pick is, sure, Flandre and Mako can stop like other members from engaging. You don't have any way of stopping a Rumble from dropping an equalizer in your face. It's gonna happen, and you just need to accept it.
Yeah, and nothing's going to stop that from happening every 30 seconds. Look at the cooldown. He's almost got it available again.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it is quite low, and again, he doesn't have that much ability haste. I think he has 25, 10 from the Zanyas, and 15 from the Night Harvester.
Now, what do you want to see here? Are we just going to farm up for the next Dragon for Dragon number 3 for both these teams? Are we going to threaten Baron?
Yes, we're going to farm up for sure. I can feel EDG are fine. EDG want to farm up. We use the terms chillin' and mega chillin' earlier in the day. So EDG are somewhere in between that. They feel fine. They have 2 Dragons. Again, they have Orianna, they have Aphelios. FPX might be a bit more proactive. They're going to get these side lanes in order first.
Are we going to see a solo kill? No, we're not. Flandre's going in. Actually, there's going to be follow-up. Maybe we get a bit more action. Maybe it just goes back to the chillin' state. Jeje's here. But, okay. All right, chat. Just don't fall asleep. It'll be okay.
Oh, FPX are going for the Baron play?
Oh, we're not sleeping at all? That ward spotted out.
We're not.
Oh, no, back to a snooze. Okay, all right.
I mean,
we'll
the thing
wake
is,
you when you were ready.
if EDG ever show too far up on wave mid, you just drop Equalizer, throw out the Leona ultimate to follow up, and you will find some definite picks on the members of EDG. So, very small mistakes can be punished very harshly by FPX's comp.
Judges walking into the river. Chris was being tagged down by the undertow. Healed
Flandre?
up, actually. As look at this fat man run. Flandre has a movement speed, but Chris dodging away. Flandre doesn't get the angle. And teleport used for that one.
That was so funny. He runs straight at the wall, and then he suddenly looks confused and just gives up instantly.
Like, that's it. That's the play. We'll leave it there.
Oh,
FPX
God.
Gravitum used on the LWX. And EDG just going to keep A-ramming for the time being.
You know, I feel like a lot of the interest in, you know, just coolness, if that is a word, in plays, is when you see potential plays fail. That's where I get a lot of my joy as a League of Legends fan.
Yeah.
Again, the setup was awesome. JJ's running in, Flandre's flanking, and then it all falls apart.
Oh, Nuguri. Okay, well done. Can he survive? It is Aatrox with a lot of healing, so yes. He only has to burn the World Ender, which to cooldown again. Another ultimate that doesn't really matter. A Scout over the wall.
Scout.
Is this the play? No. Equalizer, but the Dark Passage Mako was nearby. Collateral damage was used as well. That's 3 ultis down, and EDG know it.
At the same time, though, I'm not quite sure what EDG can force. If they did want to force something, they would have to go on to Baron, which would obviously be a big gamble. I think as FPX, you could probably posture that one, take it a bit slow, and force EDG off. Thus far, I think it's pretty interesting that we have low kills, but it's like you pointed out earlier. We've had a lot of like teams trying to force things. We've seen a lot of potential action. Just again, good lanterns, good flashes, good heals, good ability to dodge the potential danger coming in. Doesn't mean that we've had a lack of trying.
That's the response time for some of these key abilities. So, yeah, we're farming again. After all said and done, you know, only thing that was burned really a heal. Maybe not another heal in the bottom lane, mid lane, excuse me. Viper gets locked down. Soul Flare there from Chris. Death Sentence flashed away. We're tickling each other in this mid lane. Oh no, that's not a tickle. That's a body slam. Nuguri has to flash away, but the Equalizer there lines up, burns him down. Nuguri survives. Gore Drinker a bit OP until 5 people stand in front of him. He's down for 50 seconds, Lyric. Now something can happen.
Yep, we are going to see EDG go for Baron. We already have Scout who has TP basing. He's going to come in, and they don't really actually have any engage tools. A lot of ultimates are down, but still they're confident they have the damage to pull off this play.
They are 5 versus 4 for the foreseeable future. Baron going down super quick. Crescendum is making sure that with Severum at the ready. Perfect guns here for Viper. He's going to change it to a Vernum, I believe. No, sorry, Calibrum goes down. The steal doesn't come through. He tried. TN wanted it. But the smite secures, and EDG have 2 dead.
This game is being won and lost by very slight edges. One pick onto Nuguri, turning into a 50-50 Baron play. JJ barely, I'm not going to say barely, JJ wins out on the smite, but Tien was a higher level, potentially could have gotten that steal. They get the smite, they get the pick, it turns into Baron, turns into mid tower, and turns into the 3rd dragon.
With the Baron and with this dragon, they're going to threaten Soul Point. They've got a gold lead that's about 3,000. And now, as you talked about, this paces them towards that late game. This keeps them comfortable. And FPX are going to have to try and force this play, Lyric. They're going to have to try and find those grouped up engages. It's going to get harder and harder with the more resistances that are coming from this neutral objective.
Look, this is where all of our EDG fans out there, because there's so many of you who stick through EDG through all the tough times. You put your hands in the air, you start praising that this game is won, and then let's be honest, knowing EDG, you fans will probably have jinxed it, and FPX will find a way back into the game.
It's not safe until that Nexus is destroyed, absolutely. The EDG fans, there are many of them. But, you know, from season to season, they lose about 10,000.
I know you, EDG fans. I know you.
Some of the oldest in the league. I mean, FPX, you got to remember, even though they're a world champion, they're one of the newest organizations back in 2017 summer when they first came into existence.
They're definitely one of the most popular. When you have a personality like Doing B on your team, hard not to be loved, especially in the West.
I told, you know, what did we say before? Oh, no, that wasn't on stream. I was going to say, someone asked me in chat who I want to cuddle with, you know, out of the LPL. And I thought, there's such a friendly guy. Like, Doombee's the man. you know.
Oh God, thank God he doesn't hear this though. You know, I bet there's gonna be some fan that's gonna put it on Weibo or something, and now Doom be really creeped out by you. But hey, let's get back to the game. EDG at Baron. EDG have been playing out through a 3-lane scenario. We see them do this really cool rotation where they push in mid and top, and they're moving one man down each lane. So it does give them pressure in both bot and mid.
Well, bottom goes first. Flandre going up mid as well, and this is kind of the pain. You can't kill Flandre if you're Nuguri. Takes no damage, heals back up with a bit of drunken might. As Flandre level 16 with the explosive cast, Doomby heading back as well. He knows how much trouble he's in with the explosive cast, because that was pretty nice. Bit of damage on the side, Flandre once again, and damage goes down on TM while the equalizer finds its mark. Blocked by a bit of a window on the left to see ultimates, but I can tell you one thing, Scout had the flash, and he flashed forward.
Yeah, he did. Scout, always a player we know who's willing to go aggressive at any moment, and this game is just feeling tougher and tougher for FPX. They're falling behind more gold. EDG's composition getting to a point where their hyper carries are extremely strong, and FPX's composition pretty telegraphed in the way it wants to play. We've said how it needs to just kind of like run forward. You drop the equalizer, Aatrox, Leona, and Kai'Sa all follow up, and it's about bursting down Viper and Scout.
Look at the timer though for Doomby. This is their defense. Equalizer's almost back up and available. There's a bit of burst damage down, but Viper's taken none. LWX tags as they run away. FPX, are they going to pull the trigger on the retreat? The answer is no, and EDG manage only to break one inhibitor with a turret when their Baron buff is up.
I do want to say, Viper doing an amazing job at managing his guns. I feel like he always has to crescendo them and sever them up.
Nuguri, is he going to get caught out once again? Again, the answer is no. JJ walks forward.
You have your two healing Gore Drinker users just kind of trading health. It doesn't really mean anything. They're both going to walk away, go hit some jungle camp, and be full HP again.
Yeah, they live. They live. In short, what you're saying is they definitely live. So, Nuguri going to catch this bottom wave. Note, guys, top, left, and right of your screen are important timers. The Mountain Soul is spawning at the same time, pretty much, as Baron. So, sir, we got a decision to make, and I think Mountain's definitely going to be something FPX don't want to give over.
I mean, for EDG, if FPX did opt into a trade and took Baron, you have wave clear in your composition. So you don't really care if FPX have Baron. You'll clear out the waves, you'll force the team fight with your Mountain Soul, and you'll probably come out on top. Another thing is when we set up that FPX's comp is a bit more burst-oriented, the fact that you're giving over more resistances and a giant shield to the side of EDG definitely doesn't feel or bode well for you, like, in the game.
How do you ever get past Flandre? JJ as well becomes that bruiser into late-game tank. This is a point where Viper clearing out the mid wave knows that they can set up for the dragon. They have vision control in the river, but FPX are there first. LWX walking into Flandre. He backs away. FPX actually have the bottom side under control.
Looking at player camps, Flandre is still being so vocal. We know Flandre is a shot caller. One of the things we've said that EDG have needed for a very long time. Seems like he is stepping up and taking a very vocal role in this team.
True, that's a very good point. You know, a lot of people think it's Mako or Scout, but only in certain conditions. We can talk about that post-game, because this could be the fight that makes or break the series. EDG have a massive gold lead, but Nuguri here into the middle of the pit. Ward's placed down to bait him out, and Viper a crucial target, but also note that Scout has Shockwave, as could be as big as the Equalizer.
And yeah, we still see that Viper does have the Gravitum though, so can potentially root people down and find that big chain CC along with Flandre.
Explosive cast used Lyric in the back end of that trade. They're going to start hitting down Dragon pretty fast. Nuguri wants to go in. Tien flashes over the wall a little bit early. It's secured by Aphelios. There's the Mountain Soul for EDG. Now they go into the fight. Tien gets tagged by the Gravitum on the back end. Flandre bops him and kills him, while Nuguri is trying to 1v3. But I think this fight is going dire straits. EDG have everyone alive, and the Mountain Soul refreshes their shield. LWX is low, trying to buy some time. And EDG may have just done it, as Doomby now getting chased. JJ's going to hug him before I can. And EDG have collapsed on top of FunPlus Phoenix with a beautiful secure. It's only Nuguri who can try and kill Scout. Dunks him down, saved by Mako. That's a brother of a support if I've ever seen one. He too will die with the full-blown ace.
EDG had to spend a lot of time killing the members of FPX, but they should be taking the game in the end. Great performance all around, and again, they're building themselves up to be the premier team fighting team in the LPL.
Mako just having a great game here. I can hear Greensleeves playing outside our window lyric. That's because it's beautiful all the way for EDG in what was a hyped up matchup. Definitely